And good evening, everyone. ESS, Empire State Sports, proudly presents the Wise Guys Sports Talk Show. Your host tonight, Joey Riom, Dave Bartlett, myself, Pete Gosson, our very special guest, second time he's been on the show, Francesco Palumbo. Francesco, welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the time tonight. Great to be back.
So Francesco's back with us a second time, and the reason he's back is because when we talked to him the first time, we were getting the lowdown on the Bodacious Bears, the documentary of the 80s Potsdam State. Back then it was Potsdam State. That's what they called it. The Jerry Welch coach Potsdam State Bears, who obviously were legendary, not just in the North Country, but nationwide in Division III basketball. And Francesco has put together a 2-year project, I'm going to assume, Francesco, of getting this thing together, and it's coming to fruition here in a couple of weeks. The legend himself, Coach Jerry Welch, is coming home, a lot of his old players, and it's just going to be a great weekend in SUNY Potsdam, in the town of Potsdam on November 5th and 6th. But we'll let Francesco dive into all that stuff. But first off, Francesco, before you do dive into that, are you tired?
No, I don't have time to be tired right now, but I think once this is off my shoulders, it'll be amazing to kind of look back and see the journey it has been. But even now, just again, like you said, it's been over 2 years, just the planning, the process, and trying to make it all happen. But to think it's almost here is kind of crazy.
Well, I can't speak for Pete and Dave on this one, but I don't know how many times I've watched the trailer, because it is probably some of the 6 best minutes I've seen of obviously of those days, and to see some of the people that Pete, Dave, and I know very well, that we've interviewed more than once on this show, and who we followed as kids. This is going to be really exciting for all of us. And even though Pete's not going to be around on the 5th and 6th, I'm sure Pete cannot wait just to watch the Bodacious Bears. And so I guess my next question will be is, how will that become available to those that aren't going to see it that weekend?
Absolutely. Great question. So the day of the event is the 6th, and the premiere will be over at SUNY Potsdam's Proscenium Theater. So around 350 can fit in that theater, and then there'll be some overflow options as well over in the Union area. And additionally, if you can't make it to be in person, there's a live streaming option on YouTube. So we'll have a premiere set up for that. And one of the things that I think we had previously discussed just quickly before we jumped on this call, we'll have a roundtable discussion the day before with Coach Welch and several of the other notable folks involved with this, and kind of the process, the planning, and everything that we talked about over the past 2 years, and what took to make this happen. And so the recording of that will play just before the premiere on YouTube. So for anyone that missed that as well, that'll be available before the actual documentary shows on YouTube.
Will there be a link so maybe we can share with our audience, on our page?
Yes, there will be a link. Once the documentary is finished in production, I'm still working on it. So
You're still working on it?
Still working on it. Yep.
Wow.
We've had some last minute interviews that came up over the last few weeks. So
Yeah, 2 weeks, man. Hurry up.
I know.
Are we up to like a...
Nothing
Go
makes
ahead,
you
Dave.
more productive than a hard deadline.
I know. It's a little nerve-wracking, but we're getting there.
Are we up to like a 7-part miniseries here? Where are we at?
I think if you divide it by 20-minute segments, you probably would get to about 7 parts. It's going to be probably around the 2-hour mark.
Excellent.
And I don't, maybe we talked about this, Francesco, when we interviewed you before. I remember you saying that the timeline was about 2 hours, but did you want it to keep it to 2 hours? Because I'm just assuming you've got 100 hours of footage.
Oh man, yeah, the footage in the archives is amazing, and I think the 2-hour mark just makes sense in a lot of different ways. I kind of did some planning, and to speak to next point of this, I had a whole transcript written out basically with the storyline that I kind of envisioned just based on the interview footage and everything like that. But Tim Welsh did a fantastic job with it. I mean, we reached out to see if he'd be interested in narrating, and
Oh, wow.
I don't know if he knew the extent of it, but I mean, it's a 25 to 30 page document with the whole narration, and he was just so eager, and he did an absolutely fantastic job with it. So, I mean, I had that kind of in the back of my mind. I had this document to work with and kind of create a framework, but yeah, so that's kind of how it shaped that timeline.
Well, I mean, that's great that you were able to get Timmy to do that. I mean, that had to have been hard for him. I mean, joyous, but I mean, also difficult because I mean, we're talking about he was involved, and that's his dad. You know, so had to be emotional for him in some spots where maybe how many takes did it take in some certain spots?
He is an absolute professional, and I think this is one of those more recent developments since the last time we spoke, but I got to go work with him over in the Providence area, over in the studios where he works, and just sat down with him for a few hours with the transcript and everything and filmed. And it's really interesting, I think, the way we have it and how it's written. So he starts off with an introduction, kind of telling his perspective on how he's involved, and then it gets right into the narration. So it's a unique perspective to add, and to use his voice. He did just such a great job.
That's great. I mean, this, you know, this is getting really exciting, knowing that this is finally coming. And again, you know, Dave and I are not trying to rub this into Pete because he'll be in Florida. I mean, that's a good trade-off if you had to have a trade-off. But again, the cool thing is that he's going to be able to still watch your project, which is really the whole main thing of this. I mean, Dave and I are going to get pretty lucky to be around some of the legends of Potsdam State, which is just going to be cool in itself. But I think what I'm really most excited about though is to see your project in the final, the final 2 hours that you put together.
Yeah. No, Joey, you said earlier you don't know that you could speak for us, but what you said then, you could definitely speak for me. I've watched that trailer, I don't know, 15, 20 times. You know, and just in the anticipation of this event, I mean, I am so looking forward to it.
That's great. And one more thing to add in terms of future watching ability, we are planning to create some hard copies, but we'll need to know, obviously, like a pre-order, so we're not creating too many DVDs. And the DVD will feature the full length as well as some bonus cuts and an inset booklet. So we'll have information, and it'll be pretty well done. I plan on having that, but we need to have orders and everything. So we'll have that available for order and to get a list of the number of copies we'll need. So that's just another thing to add to the list, I guess.
It's going to be just, I don't even have the words. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I wish I could participate. Like, you know, I told you earlier, and like we said in the first show, I would love to be there. Unfortunately, we're leaving tomorrow morning for Florida, but I will be sitting down and watching that. I guarantee you at some point, if not live, I'll definitely get a copy. Is there maybe there's a way, is there a way that you can put that on like online where somebody would pay a couple bucks to watch it online, or have you gone that far yet? Or
In terms of like the live stream?
yeah, or later on, if they can't buy the movie, or you know, a CD or you know, a DVD, DVD, is it something that they could pay for online and watch it online, stream it?
Yeah, the YouTube premiere will stay online, and then we'll probably keep the option open to order DVDs as well for a little while, just to make sure they're all in the same order. That's probably the easiest way to go about it.
Yeah, please let us know so we can post it on our site, on our
Absolutely.
page. So that'll give you a couple. I'm sure it'll get you some more orders, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people. Look, like Joey said, the three of us, we're only three. The whole North Country grew up watching those guys and all those big runs for the national championship. So we're all huge fans back when Potsdam used to go off. I mean, it was nothing. That school was from the Witherspoon days to all the plastic spoons to all the toilet paper that used to be flung up in the rafters, and people standing on the baselines. I mean, there were guys would take a layup and run into a guy it was a madhouse back then. So, and I'm sure you've seen that in a lot of your production films.
Yeah, definitely. That's a lot of the footage I've been going over more recently, is just the amazing crowds over at Maxi, and again the storylines that align with the spoons and the toilet paper, and just absolute mayhem in Maxi.
Yeah, the newspapers. I remember the newspapers and all that. Oh, yeah, it was a great time. I mean, you'd have to get there early to get a seat. So, but it was definitely a North Country thing. Of course, to us, Potsdam State's always been the mecca of North Country basketball. So this is just going to make it that much better, much sweeter.
Francesco, can you confirm any of the former players, especially the well-known players? Obviously, we knew them all, but when it comes to the well-known players, can you confirm any of their appearances on that weekend?
Who will be coming, or who's in it?
Yes. Who might be coming? Or do we have to keep it secret?
There's no secrets needed here, but I don't think I have the full list on me.
Right.
They're going through the portal at Potsdam, so all the reservations are made through that. But
Right.
Coach Walsh is coming up, so we had it. Him and his family will be coming up for the weekend, and we made sure this weekend worked with them. I know his families are very involved with the Duke athletics down in North Carolina, so we had to kind of schedule around the football season and everything, and it just worked out this weekend. I know he can't be there, so we are definitely sorry that fell out like that, but we'll definitely be thinking about you, Pete.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We did a red carpet thing when they had the Stanley Cup present itself up in Brazier, and we had a blast. We had a live stream for, I think it was almost 4 hours.
All day.
Yeah, well, it started at the golf course, and then we went on to but it was a fantastic day, and I don't even know how many people we interviewed, but it was a blast. But
I can kind of give you a list of some of the players that we have interviewed, though.
Sure.
To kind of go back in history. Mike Dean, Bill Myrna, Pony Bullock, Marty Graginski, Ed Jacob, Brendan Mitchell, Troy Turner, Leroy Witherspoon, the late Ted Bentz. I mean, just an amazing group of athletes that came from Potsdam, and it's again just an honor to have worked with them and to hear their stories.
Did you get Steve Babiars to talk?
Yeah.
We got Steve Babiars as well.
Did you get Steve to stop talking? That's
Steve did a great job. He was one of the first ones that we got, and he really set the tone for the rest of the interviews that followed.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
he's been on this twice. He's a great guy to be around.
And I think the thing that we took away when we interviewed Steve on our show, the thing that we took away, and I've always known this anyway, because of my connection with Jerry, was Jerry. I played a lot of golf with Jerry, and Jerry would always, and it would happen a lot while I was with him. Hey, just got a message from Steve Babiars. I mean, they keep in constant contact. They're talking all the time. Steve says you don't go a month. He doesn't go a month without reaching out to Steve or to Jerry. So, I guarantee part in this will be probably emotional. Just a guess on my part, but I'm going to assume that it was emotional for him. So
that story has been verified on both ends. They both have said they stay in touch quite regularly.
Yeah, it is amazing. And like I said, Steve confirmed it to Pete and Dave and I on our show, and I've seen it live playing golf with Jerry, and it's just really cool to know that. And that's not the only one. Jerry keeps in touch with all his guys, but Steve's is quite prevalent. Just something we know. So. Well, Francesco, the countdown's on. I mean, so what are your days like right now? Is it working on the film? Can we ask a personal question too on this? Are we making a dime on this, Francesco? We're so lucky on this. Now, obviously you're going to sell some DVDs, but your goal here wasn't to make money off of this. This was for the goodness of North Country basketball and SUNY Potsdam.
It's really developed as like a passion project in a sense. And again, Tim Dempsey was huge in helping to cover a lot of the costs that were necessary. And he really started the idea in terms of making it happen and reaching out to me. So he's definitely the guy behind all of this. But there's no profit being made on any of the DVDs or anything. It's just to cover the costs and make sure people can have that legacy piece. We're also producing posters, which we'll have available. So I'm not sure if you've seen the poster that I produced has the movie poster and the names and everything. So those will be made. Coach Mitchell's in the process of getting those over to different businesses in Messina and Potsdam and Canton. So hopefully those make their rounds in the next few days and continues to build up some of that momentum heading into November 6th.
I don't think momentum's going to be a problem. I mean, if I can't imagine that there aren't hundreds of people that are like the three of us here that are just, sitting on the edge of our seat waiting for this,
It was amazing to see the overnight reaction of that initial post from Potsdam. I think we had over 170 people sign up overnight just to come within that 24-hour period. So that was really cool to see. And again, once people really start to understand it's coming up real quick, I think that place is going to be packed.
Do you by chance have the stats on the YouTube on the trailer? How many views it's had?
That was my.
Yeah, that's had about 14 to 1,500, somewhere in that range.
Okay, and about 100 are Joey and me. So
I got a handful. Yeah.
And Pete, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm right in front of a computer right now. You got me curious.
Let's see how many hits it's got.
Yep. Oh, look. Bodacious Bears. Oh, it's up to 4K. No, 1.4. Yep, 1.4.
There you go.
So yeah, pretty cool.
I'm sure there'll be more after the trailer was a huge tease, so I can't wait to see the whole thing. So
I know the last time you were asking for some more teases or some more sneak peeks, and I don't know how much more I can tell you, but I can tell you that since we last spoke, there's been some pretty incredible things that have happened behind the scenes. So it's just one of those things where I hope it has that impact when you kind of see it on screen and you see what's going on. You're just like, wow. And it really makes the impact on this story really reaches all the realms of basketball history when you really think about it.
well, hopefully, Francesco, that after this is all done and you finally have a couple nights sleep, maybe you can come back on and you can give us a little synopsis of exactly what went on behind the scenes on your days, the 5th and 6th. And you can, of course, Joey and Dave are gonna attempt to be there, and I'm not. But from your point of view, we'd love to hear the after stories of what went on that day.
Absolutely, would love to share when I can.
Yeah,
Sounds great.
yeah, the making of the Bodacious Bears
Yeah,
episode here.
I'm sure there's a lot of stories because you don't want to give away all the teasers now. So
No, exactly. Once you see it on the screen, that's when the impact really hits. And
right.
again, I think we talked about this the first time, but just the legacy of the North Country and the way I think back on this whole process has been, it's just a culmination of all the experiences I've had in my life so far, and to see all these people involved, it's really special.
Sounds fantastic. Well, we wish you nothing but the best of luck on the 5th and 6th coming up in November. I can't wait to see it. one way or another, I can't wait to see it. And the boys will be there in person. So I'm sure I'll get a little feedback as that's happening. So
Awesome. Yeah. Well, again, we'll be thinking of UP and we'll do anything we can to get some stuff to you.
sounds great. Well, thank you for coming back on and give us a little update on what's going to be happening. And we wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
That's going to be it here tonight on ESS, Empire State Sports and the Wise Guy Sports Talk Show for Joey, Dave, myself, Pete Gosaw, and Francesco Palumbo. Good night, everybody. Stay safe.